From Braemar Arena in Edina, we've got a big late conference matchup this evening as the Wayzata Trojans 0-1-1 in conference will be heading in to take on the Edina Hornets. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here on Edina Boys Hockey alongside Bart Archer for the first time this season. This is Patrick Lilia with you. Bart, it's an important game for both teams. Wayzata, perhaps a team that people overlook a little bit given who else is in their conference, but certainly not a team that you want to overlook. Tell us a little bit about them. Tell us about, they've had that tie against Minnetonka on Saturday, so if the notice was not sent for that, certainly a lot to be said about the Trojans coming into tonight's game.
No, actually, in fact, the Trojans are trending in the right direction. 4-1-1 in the last 6. As you said, they dropped one to Eden Prairie at home. But a very good showing at the Eden Prairie Community Center against a very formidable Minnetonka skipper squad. They tied that one 2-2, showed great speed through the neutral zone. They really did a lot of things very, very well during that game. But I don't think this Trojan team is going to sneak up on anybody. Patrick O'Leary, coach team, is always disciplined. They always play very heavy. They're very difficult to play against in the own zone. They're not afraid to get in front of shots, and they generally have very sound defense as far as team defense. Great defensive core and always solid goaltending. So Edina's got their work cut out for him tonight.
That late conference showcase at the Eden Prairie Community Center, of course, as we mentioned, they tied Minnetonka 2-2 in that game, scoring a late goal to get that game to overtime. We talked about as well the unique goaltender situation. They regularly operate with two goaltenders, Trevor Wong and Danny Fraga. And we talked about off air whether we think that's a benefit, and you think that is a benefit to have two guys competing for that role.
Well, I think they're, having an internal competition is never bad. It keeps everybody kind of on point and focus as well. But they support each other quite well. In fact, it was Wong that was the primary backup going to Schilling last year. And Fraga was worked into the mix. Now Fraga's played 11 games, Wong's played 8, so we don't know who's going to get the start tonight, but they're both very capable goaltenders. I think as far as numbers-wise, I think Danny Fraga, the senior goaltender for this Wayzata team, is 6-2-3 of the 1.97 goals against and a .916 save percentage with a couple shutouts, where Trevor Wong is 2.74, still respectable, but .889. But it always depends upon the time of year that you play and the opponents that you play against as well. But either way, I think Coach Pat O'Leary is going to put a good, competent goaltender out there and get a good showing from him. But they play such sound defense that it's not just about the goaltending, as you know, Patrick. It's how the team plays in front of you. And too many times they get too much credit, too many times they get too much blame. But the Trojans are trending in the right direction. I expect a strong showing from whichever goaltender Coach O'Leary puts out.
So Edina riding the crest. They beat Minnetonka. They beat Eden Prairie. They're kind of riding the crest of two huge wins, maybe especially getting that Minnetonka win out of the way, hanging the first L of the season on the Skippers. They will be missing their star defenseman Mike Vorlicki tonight. How do you think that might change things for the Hornets?
Well, it's going to change things, but this is still the Edina Hornets. It's really next man up, and they're going to probably bring Drew Bishop up in more of a primary role or bring Gunnar Johnson out to play, and both of these are very solid defensemen. I mean, they're going to take a step back. Obviously, you can't fill the skates of a Mike Vorlicki. He just brings too much to the table, but they're going to have to play. Everybody's going to have to pick up their game just a little bit, not try to do too much. But the Hornets, they were kind of cruising along pretty well. Solid win against St. Louis Park, solid win against Blake. They shut out Hill Murray, and then Hill Murray came in here and kind of punched him in the nose and drew a little blood, and I think that's not a bad thing for the Hornets. It kind of reset them a little bit, and then they came out with a very formidable 5-2 win at Pagel, which is a very difficult place to play, and then they went and played a very good Eden Prairie squad, beat them 5-2 at the Eden Prairie Community Center, so now Edina's back home in their comfort zone. I think the onus is on Wayzata, and I've said this, every Edina game that we've done, you have to pay particular attention for the first 3 minutes. Edina loves to come out, and I think out of all the games that they played so far, and I think it's 18 games, there have been 20 periods where they scored a goal or two in under 3 minutes of the start of a period, so that's kind of a trend that Wayzata has to be cognizant of tonight.
So quickly here, what do you think are the keys to the game? We'll start with the Trojans.
I think the Trojans are just going to have to defend their blue line. They're going to have to be able to get the forwards to come back. Spacing and pacing is going to be very important. You can't give Edina too much room in the neutral zone because they're too quick and too good with the puck. So if they take care of their blue line, give their goaltender, and it looks like it's going to be Fraga tonight, if they can give him sight lines, he's a good enough goaltender where when he sees the puck, he generally can save it. But second chance opportunities are something Wayzata is going to have to be cognizant of. But Edina doesn't give up many chances, Patrick, so Wayzata is going to have to make the best of it when those chances present themselves. themselves. The only real dovetail that works to Coach O'Leary's favor is Edina's been kind of notorious for taking the penalties at the wrong time, stick penalties. They have a very good penalty kill, but you don't want to tempt fate too many times. And the Trojans at about 29% of the power play, that's something that they're going to have to reckon with tonight.
And for the host Hornets, to avoid that letdown coming off those two huge wins, what do you think they're going to do tonight?
Well, I don't think whenever you play a Wayzata team, I think there isn't going to be a letdown. I think the natural thought would be that there would be a letdown, but I think there's going to be a very focused Edina Hornet team, especially in front of their home faithful. But it just promises to be a very good game, kind of a contrast of styles where Edina's a little bit more forward heavy, a little more run and gun, where Wayzata's a little bit more defense first. But this Wayzata Trojan team could put the puck in the net, and it starts with number 4, Joel Matthews, 14 tallies on the year. They have Luke Monty, 14 tallies on the year. Kimlinger, forward, junior forward, 11, and Ben Lutke with 10 goals as well. So they have some players that can put the puck in the net.
We'll take a quick timeout and come back with the drop of the puck for the first period. You're watching Edina Boys Hockey live on mnhockey.tv. Welcome back inside Braemar Arena, getting set for the puck drop. The Loudon Hogan goal for Edina this evening.
I'm starting to rub off on you, Patrick. It took me about 3 games to get her figured out, but Loudon Hogan, you said, is in goal for Edina. 12-2-1, 2.11 goals against average, and a .904 save percentage with a shutout as well. He's been kind of their reliable goaltender, and that's not to begrudge Jack Wolf, senior goaltender Jack Wolf. He's come in and played very, very well, but Loudon Hogan gets the nod tonight. He's going to be busy, I have a feeling.
It will be Fraga in goal for Wayzata. We had kind of speculated whether it will be Wong or Fraga. It will be Fraga this evening. You know, that it's like coming off that Minnetonka tie that they're going to roll with Fraga this evening once again. They're finally underway here. Late start due to the girls' game going to overtime, which was a makeup game to begin with. Was supposed to be played on Tuesday, but obviously everything kind of, no pun intended, on ice due to that nasty cold weather we've been having throughout the area the last few days. Is puck back in the Edina zone as Jake Boltman with it in front of the Edina net will send it deep into the Wayzata zone, and right away Test Fraga, who will get the glove on it. Have an offensive zone face-off for Edina of 16:33 to go, first period.
Well, and that's what Edina can do. They get the puck early and move it up the ice in a hurry, and Jungle's got the nod on that one. Tried to go in and actually open up the pads of Fraga, but Fraga made a good save, held onto it, but and then it was Jungles who got run into the boards after the play, so the Edina forwards are going to have their heads on a swivel tonight.
Goes back around to the near side. It's out of the reach of Joe Tomsic for Wayzata. Back out now in the neutral zone. Here's Joel Matthews, the leading scorer for Wayzata. It was a beautiful setup. They score! As he fed Luke Money, and Wayzata strikes first less than a minute into the game. Trojans 1-0, just 41 seconds in.
Well, gave him a little piece of their own medicine on that one. It was a really nice play by Matthews. He was in on the left side, down by the dot, and saw Monty coming in from the right side. Monty just put a shot up and over the shoulder of Hogue. Boy, early energy for Wayzata, up to Edina to match that energy, but 1-0 lead Wayzata early.
Wayzata controls off the center ice face-off as it's sent back quickly into the Edina zone. The Hornets able to clear it back out. Wayzata possessing up high in their own zone. Sent back the other way, where once again the Trojans possessing in their own zone. The Tomchik will push this one through. It'll work its way all the way back into the Edina zone. And it's sent around the other direction by Grayson Reiners. Is back out into the neutral zone. Back to pick it up is Carson Peters for Wayzata. So back down to the near side. Peters will play it around. As Hogue out of his net will leave it behind him for Reiners. Reiners trying to get it up ahead toward Kevin Delaney, as Delaney will carry it along the bench area through the neutral zone. They'll dump it down in deep. Fraga out of his net, banks it up the near side boards in front of the bench area. Wayzata will dump it back down into the offensive zone. They'll play it around to the near side. Dylan Lewis pushing it back behind the net. To Haven Davison. It's Kimlinger. Jack Kimlinger with a shot in traffic that's blocked as it's poked back down to the corner. As Boltman will flip this one up high. Somehow they managed to not hit anything. It comes back down and we play on. Well, the impression of this one, Bart, is that Wayzata getting that early goal. See how that changes things for Edina. Maybe not much at all. Of course, just less than a minute into the game, so certainly no reason to hit the panic button just yet.
No, I don't think Edina is going to change their game at all, but it certainly gave Wayzata a little confidence, kind of got them settled down a little bit. Anxiety's coming into it because you're playing Edina in Braemar Arena, so that had to settle them down, but good focus, good energy so far by the Trojans early.
Edina in the neutral zone. Michael Shoemaker sends this one down ahead of Cole Kavanaugh. It'll get down to the end boards and now push down into the corner. Comes back to the blue line. There's a shot through traffic, and that one might have gotten through to the goaltender Fraga as it ends up working its way behind the Wayzata net, and the Trojans will flip it all the way down. They'll go for an icing and a face-off back in the Trojan zone. 14:20 to go in the first period.
Well, pretty good response by the Edina Hornets, but I like the way that Wayzata came right back after him and pushed the puck down low. I think it's very important for Loudon Hogue to get the feel of the puck again. You get beat on your first shot, you want to touch that puck again. He hasn't had that opportunity, but Edina with an offensive zone face-off. 14:20 left in this first period. Wayzata holding on to a one-goal advantage.
Wayzata scoring just 41 seconds into the game with a shot off the face-off by Reiners goes well wide. Wayzata through the neutral zone will get it into the offensive zone. As Luke Fairchild battling his way through. Fairchild going at Hogue, who will knock it down and cover it up.
Well, and that's exactly what Loudon Hogue needed, is just to touch the puck again. Edina did a nice job of forcing things to the outside, but they're reaching with their sticks. You got to get your body in front of these Wayzata Trojan forwards. They're not small, but they play a very heavy game, as I've been told by Pete Wagner. But Edina's going to have to be a little bit more responsible in their own zone and use their bodies, get in the way.
Off the face-off, Wayzata controls it behind their net. Centering feed in front of Hogue, who makes the save, and it drives up into the net. I think it was Matthews who got that shot off.
Indeed, it was Matthews. He's a focused player, obviously, on this team. That's why he dons the C, and he is a leading point getter on this Trojan squad. But it was Drew Bishop that actually put his stick on that one, ramped it up and out of play. It was coming right toward us, Patrick. Don't worry, I got you covered over here.
Had a play like that in the first game we did this afternoon, where I said to John Sands that it looked like if there was no netting, that puck would have come right to us, driving into the offensive zone and then losing control as he got headed off and now sent back through the neutral zone. And work its way back in the Trojans able to send it back the other way for an icing, and we'll have a face-off back in the Wayzata zone. 13:35 to go in the first period, 1-0. And now, one comment about where we're sitting, it's kind of easy to lose track of the puck sometimes if you take your eyes off of it like I did there, so my apologies for that one.
Well, it is a little unique in the corner, but they're 220 feet away from us right now, and these eyes aren't getting any younger over here, but I just call out random numbers. No, I'm just kidding. It does present some challenges, but what a great venue.
As Fraga makes the save on that shot off the face-off as it's pushed right back into the Edina offensive zone down in the near side corner. Going to come out with it. The centering feed intercepted out front by the Trojans. It comes free, loose in traffic, and whacking away at it are the Hornets. Still loose in front of Fraga. Now poked back through the circle in front of the bench area at the point. There's a long shot from Reiners. It was blocked. It'll work its way down into the corner as we pass the 4-minute mark here of the first period. 1-0 in favor of the Trojans. Goal just 41 seconds into the game by Luke Monty. And the assist from Matthews, the beautiful feed as the puck ends up out of play. We'll have a face-off, 12:50 to go.
Yeah, in fact, it was Fairchild that got the secondary apple on that one. But as you said, 41 seconds in, things have settled down a little bit. Edina seems to find a little flow. Face-off outside the Wayzata zone as it was ramped up and out of play into the spectators. But one thing that's going to be an indicator for success for Wayzata is how they navigate through offensively, the neutral zone. Edina is very good at congesting the neutral zone, but if Wayzata can get some space and into the zone with some speed, that bodes very well for Coach O'Leary and the Trojans tonight.
As Gunnar Johnson was able to knock it down briefly, but the Trojans able to drive it right back into their offensive zone. It'll work its way behind the Edina net. Coming out with it on the wraparound attempt is Dylan Lewis, and Hogue able to cover it up.
I thought Dylan Lewis did the right thing. There wasn't much of an opportunity out front to make something happen, so he just turned and tried to stuff it short side on Loudon Hogue, but his integrity was quite well in that short side post, and then a follow-up. He'd elected to hold on to that one. 12:30 left in the first period. Face off to Hogue's right. I'd like to say hello to Doug Dornseifert and Jim Hunt out in Colorado joining us tonight. They've been very loyal followers, and we appreciate you having you aboard tonight.
It's Tomczyk with a high over the net. Want to thank, of course, everybody tuning in this evening here on mnhockey.tv as the puck up into the bench. Along with Bart Archer and John Sands, I'm Patrick Lilia. I pleaded and kicked and screamed with Pete Wagner to finally get to work a game with you this season, Bart, and here we are.
I'm glad I'm here with you, Patrick. I'm sure both me and Pete have a little separation anxiety, but I think I got a better end of the deal on that one.
Without the face-off controlled by Edina. As Jungles up the near side. He'll take a shot that'll go loudly off the glass. It worked its way. That one got through to Frog. I don't think he was expecting that shot to get through to him, but it did. He was able to make the save as we passed the 5-minute mark here of the first period. Edina maintaining the offensive zone. Jungles scores! Chet Jungles. Not sure if that was a rebound from where we were sitting, but that quick strike Edina offense has responded, and this game is tied at 1.
Well, Jet Jungles is one of those players that Edina looks to make big plays. He made the right decision on that one. Just a nice sequence. I think it was Malmquist that turned the puck on the right circle, tried to feather it down to Nevers. Nevers put a shot on goal. Fraga couldn't hold on to it, and it was Jungles waiting in the wings. Nobody blocked him out, just put it into a wide open net. 11:56 left in the first period. We're knotted at 1, and for Jungles, that's his 20th goal of the season. A nice milestone for that young man, and he doesn't score many boring ones. That one was probably as boring as they get out of his repertoire, but they're very happy to have it.
That one coming at 5:04 of this first period. So Monty at 41 seconds for Wayzata, and Jungles at 5:04 for Edina, and we have a 1-1 game. As Wayzata controls the face-off, Malmquist getting one of the assists as the Trojans send this one down in. As they're taking a hard hit in that corner with Reiners as he tried to send it back the other direction. There's Monty going to get it up toward Matthews, but it's intercepted and sent the other way by Nick Williams. And Jungles through the neutral zone, getting it up toward Malmquist. It was a little bit out of his reach up into the corner as they're opposed by Luke Rugemer. Getting tied up in that far side corner as Matthews joins that fray as it's sent back into the neutral zone and scoots all the way through. We're going to wave icing off if there ever was going to be such a possibility. As this one sent back into the neutral zone by Williams, and Wayzata able to dump it back down in deep. Behind the Edina net as Reiner sends it the other way in front of the bench area. Wayzata with it back in the neutral zone. This one chipped down into the near side corner. Williams back to get it again behind his own net. He'll get it behind him to Reiners. Reiners with a long pass through the neutral zone ahead for Mason Nevers. Nevers leaves it behind, thought about leaving behind for Jungles. Turnaround shot, that'll just go wide. As Nevers trying to get those Wayzata players to kind of commit to doing different things, and ended up having to just take that turnaround shot instead.
Well, he didn't know Jungles was going for a line change. But at least he got the shot in the right direction, gave him a chance to regroup.
Steaming through the neutral zone is Peter Colby, but he couldn't work his way around Carson Peters as it's sent back into the neutral zone. And back the other way to pick it up is Jack Kimlinger. Kimlinger up in the corner with it. Poke it toward the point. The shot blocked from the point. Back around to the near side corner is getting tied up on the end boards. It's Nick Gardiner. And a host of players down there, including Michael North for Wayzata, as the Trojans end up coming out with it. Back to the point. Through the circle as Edina will pick it up and circle around their net. They'll send it up to the far side boards. This one just out of the reach of Johnson on the far side. This one able to be cleared all the way down, but it's going to be an icing and an offensive zone face-off for the Trojans. 9:41 to go here in the first period.
Well, Wayzata, they're okay to just dump it in deep and get after it. That's where Hill Murray had some success and Blake had some success against this Edina Hornet squad. But really nice job by Nick Gardner, the senior forward. He didn't see an opening, but he drove to the net and really forced Loudon Hogue to make a save. And that's what you want to do. You get it down low. You want to at least force the goaltender to make a play.
Centering feed out front, and that's blocked on the shot attempt as it had come to Money out front looking for his second goal of the first period. And Wayzata able to hold the zone briefly. Now sent back out into the neutral zone by Reiner, but the Trojans send it right back in. As Drew Bishop sets up, he'll play it around to the near side to Brady Clemenson. Clemenson, though, has it sent back around. It'll work its... And a little bit of a... There's a shot that's saved by Hogue. This play continues in the corner. We apologize for that. We're having a little bit of a... Not quite of a sync-up on our rosters this evening. Mark Overman, the number 10. What I have in my hand is different from...
Put your trust in me, Patrick.
Yeah, I trust Bart Archer.
If it's incorrect, Overman. I'll jump on the. I'll take the responsibility. Let's put it that way. But pretty good pressure, shallow angle shot on Fraga by the Edina Hornets. But it's been kind of a plodding. Not a lot of great flow so far, Patrick. But that's what you expect when you play Wayzata. You have to earn every piece of real estate that you get. And so far, they've really forced Edina to work awful hard. 8:40 left in this first period. We're not at 1.
Absolutely. Maybe Edina more so than anyone else. If you let them get in the flow, you're going to be in big trouble.
Absolutely.
Shot off the face-off. End up working its way up into the corner. Edina trying to maintain possession as the Trojans battling him on the far side boards. Cross ice down to the near side. And sent back into the neutral zone. Is fighting his way through. Not quite able to catch up to the puck was Ben Ludke as it comes back around to the far side. Edina with it in the neutral zone. Michael Shoemaker. The long shot that'll be blocked. It'll work its way to the end boards. And played back to the far side or near side corner behind the net as we go under 8 minutes to play here in this first period. Both teams putting up an early tally here in this one. Just 41 seconds for Wayzata to get on the board. It was Luke Money. And then answered by Jet Jungles at 5:04. 7:40 to go here in the first period. The play moves back down into the neutral zone as Nick Williams tried to knock that one down. And the stoppage of play here.
Boy, that's a tough call. It was Nick Williams that was getting after a bouncing puck, so he made his body big. It just carried off his gloves, but it wasn't really a hand pass, but they called a hand pass on the Edina defenseman, going to bring it all the way down into the Edina zone. Face up now to Hogue's right, or Hogue's left, the other right I meant. I'd like to say hi to Kyle and Peyton Courtney. Happy belated birthday to Peyton Courtney. On the 29th, she turned 13. Happy belated birthday, young lady. And thank you for joining us tonight, as always.
This face-off pushed back into the neutral zone where the Trojans now have it up in their own zone as Jet Jungles is trying to make life very difficult for the Trojans, trying to exit their zone as Malmquist also joins that. And
well, Jungles doesn't play favorites. He makes life difficult for all the opposition, not just Wayzata.
The Trojans able to throw this one up into the bench, and we'll have another face-off. 7:06 to go here in the first.
You know, we are getting into the kind of the race for the X right now. Everybody's kind of eyeing up sections, trying to get their seedings in conference play and such. But of all the games that we've watched, and we've done a number of Edina games, this Malmquist, Nevers, and Jungles line is as good a line as there is in the state of Minnesota. They are exciting to watch, and they're very rarely held off the score sheet, as evidenced tonight. They're really a driving force for this Edina team. If you can contain this line, you're going to have a great chance, or at least a chance for success against this Edina Hornet team. But a very fun line to watch. Second line isn't too bad either.
You might remember Mason Nevers when we were here for the Holiday Classic got the number 2 play on Sports Center.
Yep.
There's a shot through traffic that'll go wide off. That brilliant goal against the Eagles on that Saturday night. Mr. John Sands having a big hand in that as well as he sent that to John Bucci-Gross at ESPN, and good things happen. It's the Trojans into the offensive zone, 2-on-1, and just out of reach on the redirect attempt was Hayden Davison. It looked like a great setup, but the pass just a little bit too hot out of reach for Mr. Davison, and it'll end up the near side corner, far side corner now as the Hornets push it in front of the bench area. It comes loose about at the red line in front of those benches now as play continues. Puck pushed back deep into the Wayzata zone. 6:10 to go here in the first period. The Hornets now possessing it in the neutral zone. Reiners will send this one back deep into the Trojan zone, or back to get it for Wayzata is Peters. Peters will have to reverse direction. That's taken away by Edina. It's Williams. Will send a shot in on Fraga, who will hold on.
Well, I think it was a good play by Williams. He had a forward closing down, and we're kind of running out of time. And Williams scored his first goal of the season against Eden Prairie. A big goal for Edina, and it was a shot similar to that was redirected by one of the Eden Prairie players in front. But now he's got the thirst for getting those goals. It was just a good, smart play by that. Chance to reset, and Wayzata got a chance to put some fresh legs out there.
Grant Morton wins the face-off for Edina, pushes it down into the corner. Morton battling along those boards. He'll end up back with the puck, although a couple of navy blue and yellow jerseys end up knocking that puck away from him. It's back behind the Trojan net. They'll play it back around to the near side. Look back into the neutral zone now. The Trojans able to briefly get it into the Edina zone. The Hornets able to get it right back out. And as Jackson Borst into the offensive zone. Borst will drive toward the net, trying to center it, but that'll end up just finding a couple of Wayzata jerseys and be sent back up into the corner. 5:13 to go here in the first period. 1-1 between Wayzata and Edina. As Jungles almost came away with that one initially. He does end up with it. Now he has the puck up on the far side board to play it into the corner. Centering feed out front for Malmquist, deflected up into the netting.
Well, that was a good vision by Nevers to see Malmquist all alone on the far side of that goal. Just rocketed a pass to him, but ramped up and out of play, and it looks like it's going to be off a Wayzata stick. The defenseman for Wayzata, so faceoff is going to be in the zone. We're just 2 ticks under 5 minutes to go in the first period. Been a pretty good period so far, but again, not a lot of flow. But Edina seems like they're starting to kind of take the game away from Wayzata. Wayzata in more of a reactive mode, starting to chase.
That's Malmquist able to get it down low, and the Hornets score. I'm not sure if Malmquist will get the goal on that one or if it'll have been redirected, but either way, it's 2-1 Edina.
I think it's going to be Nevers that's actually going to get the goal, but it was Malmquist, as you said, Patrick, that was kind of spearheaded that. But that's what this line can do. They shut the zone down. Defense playing very with a lot of confidence, not bailing early, keeping the puck in the zone. It was Malmquist that found Nevers down low, and Nevers once again, Fraga a little bit exposed on that one, trying to make the initial save, put it into an open goal. Now Edina's got the lead up to Wayzata to respond.
That one coming at 12:07 here of the first period. Wayzata had that early 1-0 lead, but now the Hornets with their first lead of the night on the goal by Nevers. The Hornets trying to push it back the other way. We'll give it to Nevers officially. They score again! As Edina off the face-off, drove it back into the Trojan zone. And it's going to be, go ahead, Bart.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it was going to be Jet Jungles with his second, his 21st of the year, but obviously Mason Nevers going to be on the assist, but that's what this line can do. They can just come at you in waves, and those waves can come pretty quick. It really not a great response by Wayzata, but Edina to give him a chance to respond. Now the onus is back on the Trojans to really kind of get back into this game. They're starting to chase the play. Edina's kind of working their way, but now it's 3-1, 4:35 left in the first period. Edina's got the mojo up to the Wayzata Trojans to answer.
So we were going to comment, we've talked a few times about flow, and certainly that's one way that Wayzata is not going to want to let Edina get into the flow of things is by giving up 2 goals in the span of 15 seconds like that. So now Wayzata are going to have to figure out a way to slow things back down again. There's a centering feed out front. Fraga searching for it. He's able to find it. We have an offensive zone face-off for the Hornets once again coming. 4:11 to go here in the first period. Jet Jungles with his second goal of the period. Shot off the face-off. That'll be saved by Fraga, deflected up into the corner, and it just seems like everything coming in the direction of Fraga now after he had kind of a clean first 10 minutes of that period. Now just the Hornets just firing away at him now.
I got a little writer's cramp going on, but it was Nevers from Malmquist, 12:07, then Jungles from Boltman in Malmquist at 12:23, so that's where we stand right now. But Malmquist obviously well represented the score sheet as usual. When Edina has success, Malmquist is somewhere around the score sheet, that's for sure.
The Trojans getting it out back into the neutral zone, but it'll come down to the near side. It's Johnson sending it back the other direction. It'll work its way back into the Wayzata zone where Peters has it for the Trojans. As it's deflected back into the Wayzata zone, Peters will try again to clear it as it's deflected to Johnson just inside the red line, and now it's sent the other way by Shoemaker. It'll work its way as Fraga gets out of his net to slow that one down. Centering feed just out of the reach of Rugemer. It comes loose in front of the goaltender. That might have been blocked.
Well, there's going to be a delayed penalty on Wayzata, and it was it was Shoemaker that was trying to exit, and just got his sticks in the wickets and pulled him down, but really not what they needed at this point. Coach O'Leary really is being presented with some challenges. Obviously, it seems like the spacing on this Wayzata team, they've kind of lost their spacing, so to speak. Edina's winning the battles to the loose puck. Nobody's admitting that they're going to the box, and it looks like it's going to be Dylan Lewis, the sophomore forward. I don't think he intended to do it, but the stick got in the skates of Shoemaker, so Edina on the power play. Edina's power play is running in the neighborhood about 28%. The penalty kill for the Trojans at 83.3. So special teams very well represented by both of these teams.
Wayzata gets an early clear as it's sent all the way down into the Edina zone. We're back to pick it up is Nevers. Nevers will set up behind his own net. He'll leave it for Williams. Then Williams delays exit. He gets it up toward Jungles. Jungles into the offensive zone for Edina. He'll slow things down near the circle. Behind with Nevers, pushes it up into the corner where Chorsky pushes it, and then as it's sent back the other direction as we go under 2.5 minutes to go here in this first period. 1:28 on the Edina power play. Setting up on that far side circle is Jungles. He tries to get it down low as the one was just sent behind the net. Wayzata desperately trying to get this one cleared out. The centering feed for Nevers, who will send a shot wide. So I think the redirect just got caught a little bit, and the second chance attempt was saved by, I saw something go flying. I thought it was the puck getting redirected out of there, but it turned out Fraga was holding on to it.
Well, he done a good job of possession, moving the puck around. It was Nevers that got the shot from the slot, and then took a little bump from Fairchild after that, but it was a nice redirect on a previous Nevers shot. Tried to redirect it with Malmquist, missed by just a little bit, but Edina with 4 forwards and 1 defenseman. Williams the only defenseman out there, so they're trying to put the boot on the throat a little bit in the first period.
Jungles back to Williams. Williams has that one deflected as he tried to get it down low. Jungles ends up with it back to Williams. Williams driving in, running up for the blast for Nevers, and that might have been blocked. They'll come back out to the far side circle. Williams back to Jungles, who winds up for the blast, and he whiffed on it. Edina, though, maintaining possession. Jungles gets it back at the top of the circle along the far side boards. And again, try to get it down low to Jungles, but it was sent back the other direction. Jungles will take it back in the circle. He will circle. They try to get it down low, and that one's saved by Fraga. It'll go on the far side boards. There's a scrum, and Edina ends up coming out with it. There's a shot from the point, and Fraga dives on it.
Boy, that was a good save by Danny Fraga on that one. A lot of side-to-side going on for Edina. They're working the puck quite well. Big body check by Wayzata along the wall. Kind of shook Edina up. Everybody stopped, but it was Malmquist that took the puck, brought it out front. But really a nice side-to-side by Fraga to keep that puck out of the net. Just 8 seconds left, and the penalty to Dylan Lewis for the Trojans. 1:10 left in the period, so Edina one more opportunity if they can win this draw. Big face-off for Wayzata.
Morton will take the face-off for Edina, and he'll win it. 5 seconds to go in the power play. Went in for a blast is Boltman, whose shot was saved by Fraga. Wayzata back at full strength. 1 minute to go here in the first period. Edina got off to a little bit of a slow start, but in typical Hornet fashion, they've roared back with 3 unanswered goals, and they lead at 3-1.
Now, keep in mind, Wayzata's only 2 really effective shots down in this game, so we still have a lot of hockey to be played, but Edina's looking pretty good.
There's Boltman with it in his own zone for Edina. Excuse me, that was Johnson who got it to Boltman. Wayzata, though, will get a turnover in the zone, but Matthews had that pass go behind him. 30 seconds to go in the period. Sent back the other way by Edina. Overman will drive his way toward the zone. Got a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play.
Well, I think a little bit of pride on the Edina side and a little frustration on the Wayzata side, but these are 2 very proud programs. But we expected a little intensity. It happened during the Minnetonka game. It happened during the Eden Prairie game. It's going to happen in games in the future as well. But whenever you get 2 late conference competitors against each other, emotions are going to run amok. And Patrick, I've always said the team that can govern their emotions better is going to have a greater chance for success. Wayzata player, I think it's Mortensen, Kyle Mortensen, that's arguing his case. You're not going to win that too many times, but it's going to be 5-on-5. But again, with 24.8 seconds left, both teams want to play responsible and smart to finish this period out. But those players are going to start their penalties in the box next period, and it's not just the remaining part of it, the minute and 36 seconds. It's going to be the minute and 36 plus the next whistle, so that could be something to watch because it could be 2, 3, 4 minutes the way this game's been played.
Williams drives the face-off in deep briefly, but the Trojans able to send it out for under 20 seconds, and the puck ends up in the Edina bench.
Well, I think if you're Coach Pat O'Leary, you just can't get to the locker room quick enough. He's got a very solid team, really a nice team. They're just kind of caught behind the 8 ball a little bit. Now they're trying to struggle to find their game again. 18.4, they're going to have to survive, and then they can go in and regroup and come out with some energy in the second period.
The face-off pushed down to the near side board, so the Trojans able to get it down into the Edina zone. Under 10 seconds to go here in the period. Getting tied up on the near side corner as the puck comes out to the far side boards. As Tomczyk has the puck poked away from him as the first period comes to an end, and Wayzata got off to a pretty good start, but Edina roaring back with 3 goals in the latter stages of that period, including 2 in 13 seconds. So what do the Trojans have to do to kind of get the wheels right again?
Well, they just have to master their own zone. Where the feather is in the Trojans' cap is always the way that they mind their own zone. They play very responsible. Their spacing is good. Their positioning is good. Their angles are good, and they contest each and every way. But now they're kind of losing their structure in their own zone a little bit, just enough for Edina to take advantage, and they certainly did that. But I just think a tweak in their own zone. Once you master your own zone, the other zones kind of take care of themselves, but they just need to get more pressure on Loud and Hogue, but it all starts in their zone. Edina just has to keep playing the way they're playing. Didn't take a penalty really in that period as far as a stick penalty, so they're playing discipline. But it just promises, with the long line changes, it promises to be a little bit more wide open, and I think that benefits Edina, but the challenge is certainly in front of the Trojans moving forward.
They did get some good looks at Hogue in that first period. What can they do to keep getting those good looks?
Well, they just have to possess the puck with speed, but Edina very good at congesting the neutral zone, so it's very difficult to navigate the neutral zone through Edina, but if you can just chip the puck in and win a race to that, or at least contest, good things are going to happen, but they just have to get more offensive zone time, and it all starts with mastering their own zone, getting some speed with possession through the neutral, and then driving to the net. They're certainly capable. They just have a challenge in front of them.
And as for Edina, we talked about flow numerous times, and it looked like they were starting to hit that stride as that period went along, Bart, and that's just what they have to keep doing, I think, is just keep that flow going.
Well, once they start getting into that offensive rhythm where they start moving the puck and moving their feet, they're very difficult to contend with, and they can create space as well as anybody, and they can find that open space, but they have a lot of skill up front. It's up to the Wayzata defensemen, and they're certainly capable to defend and protect their goaltender. So far, Edina got in a little tighter than I think Coach O'Leary wants, so they're going to have to clean up their own zone.
Absolutely. So a lot to sort out for both teams here at the first intermission. Edina leading it 3-1. You're watching MNHockey.tv. Hi everybody, welcome back to Braemar Arena with the Hornets lead at 3-1 at the first intermission alongside Bart Archer and Patrick Lulia. Once again, the Trojans, they got off to that fast start, but Edina roaring back in a big way with those 3 unanswered goals. We talked about at the outset of the intermission that what we think is going to need to happen for the Trojans to get back in this game, as well as for what Edina needs to do to just keep things going here, Bart.
Yeah, Wayzata's got their work certainly cut out for them, but it started out Monty from Matthews and Fairchild at the 41-second mark. Everything looked good for Wayzata. Edina answered back at the 5:04 mark. It was Jungles with his 20th from Nevers and Malmquist. Then at the 12:07 mark, it was Nevers with his 11th from Malmquist. And then at the 12:23 mark, Jungles from Boltman and Malmquist again shots on goal that period. Edina with 16, Wayzata with 3, and a majority of those came in the first half of that period. So Edina really shut down the Wayzata forward push in the second half of that first period. But I look for things to change a little bit. I'm sure that Wayzata's refocused a little bit. Just has to get back to playing Trojan hockey. This is a good hockey team playing against a tough team, especially at Braemar Arena. So they got some work to do, but they're going to get a great opportunity to do it. I'd like to give a couple shout-outs to Janet N. and Aaron LaPlante from Fort Lauderdale. Jane Morrow, I believe, from Arizona. We appreciate you tuning in, Jane. Drew Smith and Jack. I'm going to try this out of respect out of Gainesville. Kowich, I don't know if it's a hardie or a softie, but Matty Ice, of course, and Mark Rogers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Hopefully we're going to get some exciting hockey moving forward. Also like to say hi to Brady DeVore and Connor Beaupre, both Edina alumni, class of 2012. Thank you for tuning in. And Tim Stace, as always. Timmer, it's good to have you with us. I think we got all that. Now we can refocus back on hockey. But obviously, people, we sincerely appreciate you tuning in and joining us for late conference action tonight.
Oh, I got a couple more shout-outs. Of course, we got our guy Matt Harrington tuned in tonight. Also have Will Vanderbilt on camera this evening. We went over and said hi to in the intermission. Of course, Pete Wagner over at the EP Community Center doing the Lakeville North game against the Eagles. And we got a laundry list of people to check in with this evening.
We'll do the best we can. We appreciate it very much, obviously.
We got ready to get the second period started, and now we can refocus. As Edina controls the face-off in their own zone, trying to bank it back to the neutral zone. It gets off the boards in front of Malmquist. Here come the Hornets into the offensive zone. Back at the blue line, went after a shot. It's loose in front of Fraga, and the Trojans able to clear it out as come back the other direction by Ludke. The Trojans back out at neutral ice. It's dumped in deep by Nick Gardner. It'll work its way around the net into the corner. We're getting tied up there, involving a pile-up, including Ludke, as the Hornets the other direction. The Hornets able to dump it in deep. It'll work its way around the net. Trying to slow that one down, but unable to do so was Tommy Bergsland. There's a shot that'll go high by Malmquist over the net. We'll talk about a little bit about Bergsland, the good two-way defenseman who's pumped in 9 goals on the season to go with his good defensive play.
Well, plus he's got 28 helpers, Patrick, as well. 6 of those goals on the power play, so obviously a focused player. They're going to need him to step up his game tonight anyway. He plays a very solid game, very formidable defenseman back there. Does a lot of great things for Coach O'Leary, but one thing about this Wayzata team is they can't just rely on their primary first line. They have to get some secondary scoring tonight. They're going to have to pinch in, and if they can chip 1 or 2 in, take a little onus off the number ones, that bodes very, very well. But I like the Edina start early in this second period.
Matthews takes the face-off against Chorsky, controlled down in the corner as Wayzata will try to bring it back the other direction. It's chipped up into the neutral zone. Fairchild got knocked off the puck as he gained possession of it as it's pushed down into the Hornet zone. They'll play it behind their own net. They'll work it down to the near side. The battle ensues there, and coming out with it and sending up to the far side is Reiners. And through the neutral zone come the Hornets as it's dumped down in deep by Colby as he centers it in front, and then whiffing on the shot right out front was Kevin Delaney as it's pushed back into the neutral zone, Bart.
Boy, no mulligans in hockey, but Delaney had a great opportunity, but the puck just danced on him a little bit. But fortunate for the Trojans, he didn't get that shot off.
As that pass, go ahead.
Well, he can snipe, that's all. In fact, Delaney, I've talked about it before, but 14 goals on the season. He's a go-to goal finisher for this Edina Hornet squad, but he has 1 shorty out of those 14 goals. The rest are 5-on-5, so a very effective 5-on player for this Hornet team.
That long pass just out of the reach of Peter Colby a moment ago, and Colby kind of looked around like that was You know, he knew he had one if he had been able to catch up to that pass. The Hornets possessing their own zone, trying to get it out through the neutral zone. Here they come into the offensive zone again. Get back to Boltman. Boltman getting it down low and just missing on the back door was Kavanaugh as it ricochets back into the neutral zone. As Lewis trying to steam ahead with it, he'll push it back into the Edina zone. 14:50 to go, second period. 3-1, Hornets with the lead. As when chipped, I think, about for a moment, it looked like from here that it had left the zone, but it looks like also from here, like there were two blue lines from where it's kind of tough to tell where that blue line is from up here.
Well, it does present some challenges, but it was Bergland that actually held that puck in, and there were two Wayzata players behind the Edina defenseman, so Loudon Hogue made a really nice decision, nice save on that one to hold on to it. Otherwise, they had great support down low. Those are the little things that Wayzata's going to have to do and build on. Something positive happening. Time to build on that.
Edina quickly drives it back into the offensive zone. We're getting tied up behind the net is Borst. Borst, though, recovers as he tries to get the puck out front where it's taken away by Wayzata. Mortensen gets this one up ahead. We're chasing it down first is Johnson. Johnson will play it around the net back to the near side. Edina possessing it again in the neutral zone. Here's Morton into the offensive zone. Morton trying to get it behind him, and there's a shot saved by Fraga off the stick of Clemenson, which we confirmed at Apologies part. We did find out from John that is Brady Clemenson wearing that number 10 that we were kind of debating about.
Well, we weren't debating. You were right, I was wrong, but it's just you kind of go with what previously, but good for him. Gets a chance to get out and show his skills again, but another nice shift. It was Morton that really showed some good speed, worked his edges, dropped it back off, and now it's going to mess me up now because I don't have the name down there, but Clemenson, pretty good shot on goal.
As Reiners let a shot go from the point. It'll be pushed back into the Edina zone as Wayzata drives it back into the offensive zone. It's getting tied up in the corner are the Trojans as Matthews looking to battle his way through Kavanaugh as he pushes it back toward the point. As Fairchild trying to send it back the other direction as the pass down to the near side for Tomczyk just out of his reach. It's loose along the near side boards. Now send into the Wayzata zone. We're back to pick it up is Bergsland. Bergsland will try to get this one into the neutral zone. It'll get past Matthews as Matthews had to simultaneously think about taking a hit and then grabbing the puck at the same time. So the hat that just got thrown down toward the netting. I'm not quite sure what was going on there.
It's foreshadowing because Jungles is out on the ice again. I'm kidding.
As Matthews gets this one up ahead toward Fairchild. Fairchild steaming into the offensive zone, but he got knocked off the puck as he drove toward the net. A good defensive play there by the Hornets. Malmquist back into the offensive zone as he tried to set up that nice pass, but that was just out of the reach of Williams. Malmquist gets it back. He works his way into the middle. Malmquist tried to get it down to Jungles, but couldn't get a lot on that pass. A good job by the Wayzata defense to have to that centering feed sneaks through, and that'll go all the way down into the Edina zone.
Well, you can tell Edina's got some confidence on the back line. It was Boltman that actually held that line. Most defensemen would bail at that point, but a very confident Edina defenseman held the puck in the zone.
The shot in on Hogue, who holds on with the save. 12:36 to go in the second period. Offensive zone faceoff coming for the Trojans.
Well, indeed, it was kind of it was a shot from far away, but nonetheless, it's a shot on goal. You get the offensive zone faceoff, gives Coach O'Leary a chance to put the personnel he wants out there. So Wayzata's starting to show some life. They just have to sustain it now, and that's, again, another challenge against this Hornet team at home.
It's Hogue off the one-timer, makes the save.
And that was Tucker Ness, the sophomore defenseman. He's a long drink of water, plays a physical game as well. Not afraid to throw his body around a little bit, get the attention of these Edina Hornets, but not the greatest shot. I'm sure he wanted that one back, but again, force Hogue to make a save. Face off to his right. 12:30 left in the second period. Edina still up by 2.
Off the face-off, Wayzata able to maintain the offensive zone, is looking to come out with this. Well, the Hornets able to bring it the other direction. Through the neutral zone, now chipped down into the Wayzata zone. Is fighting his way through a couple bodies was Colby. It'll be pushed up onto the hard side inboards. Colby trying to get it back. Back out in front. There's a shot through traffic. It's loose in front of Fraga, but eventually cleaned out back to the blue line. And Edina unable to hold the zone. They won't have to reset. This play is stopped with 11:56 to go in the period.
Well, it looks like it's going to be an Edina Hornet penalty. I'm not sure who it's on. It might be on Bishop. It looks like he's making his way to the box, but it's going to be an elbowing penalty on Bishop. Really a nice defenseman. He's got some size, he's got some grit to his game, but he's got a good shot from the point that seems to kind of find its way through. But Wayzata seems to be a little tighter on Edina through the neutral zone. They're challenging him more. They aren't quite as linear. They're actually taking better angles and forcing Edina to work a little harder. But now they're on the power play, and this 28.8% power play for Wayzata, certainly formidable. They got their big guns out there. Now is the time to do some damage, get some pressure on Hogue.
Matthews wins the face-off for Wayzata, and the Trojans hold the offensive zone. Peters getting it down to the corner. And Peters will take it back. And up to the point, Bergsland. Well, Bergsland and Matthews on this power play unit. There's Bergsland looking. Back to Peters. Peters back to Bergsland. And onto the circle, Matthews. Matthews will have to reverse direction as he works his way back in front of the Wayzata bench. Backhands it toward Bergsland. Getting it down low, and Hogue able to make the save. It's loose still. And now they're going to say Hogue is able to get on top of it.
Well, Hogue was sliding to his left. Puck was going to his right, so kind of a trying moment for the Hornets, but nice puck movement by Wayzata. I like the patience on that. They didn't get too excited. It was Matthews that actually walked the blue line and then just chipped a pass over to the point. So they're getting down low and in deep, and it's Monty in front of the net creating all kinds of havoc. So Wayzata doing some good things. Now they just have to answer the bell and punch one through. Loudon Hogue, 11:19 left in the second period, 1:23 left in the penalty to Bishop for Edina.
Off the face-off, it comes back to Bergsland. Back to another Peters, my apologies. No, Peters gets it back from Bergsland. This one might have been deflected as it ends up behind the net in that far side corner, but Wayzata again able to maintain the offensive pressure here. 1:04 to go in the power play. Bergsland with a shot through traffic, and Hogue slid over to make the save. Wayzata maintaining possession once again. Now down low, and this one sneaks through down to the far side, near side corner. Peters able to hold the zone for Wayzata. Matthews getting it down low, and it went back out the other way, and Edina able to poke it back through the neutral zone.
Well, again, good puck movement by Wayzata. They got the shot they wanted, but Edina closed that gate very, very quickly. But pressure's been put on Hogue, and that's what they want. Something to build on. Just 36 seconds left in the penalty to Bishop for Edina.
Edina able to get a clear the length of the ice. 29 seconds to go in the power play. If the Trojans out their second power play unit on will try to get a couple last looks here as into the offensive zone is Kimlinger. Kimlinger working his way around the net. Push it up into the corner. Reversing direction is Davison. As Williams down there able to take this one away for Edina as he's trapped behind his own net. Gets it down toward Malmquist on the near side. Banks it off the near side boards. As the Hornets back at full strength.
Well, pretty good power play by Wayzata. Better kill by Edina, kept him off the scoreboard, but I think it probably gave this Wayzata team a little confidence. They were able to possess the puck in the offensive zone, and that's not going to hurt them in the long run.
The battle from the corner continues as Tomczyk tried to clear this one out. As Tomczyk ends up with it back, and he'll chip it up the near side boards and out of the offensive zone, back through the neutral zone. Edina able to bring it back in. It's a shot. That one goes wide by Morton. Comes back around to the near side corner. Going the other way now is Ludke. Ludke has this puck poked away from him back into the Trojan zone where they're to pick it up. The Trojans is Mortensen. He'll play this one up ahead toward Kimlinger. Kimlinger into the offensive zone has 4 white jerseys in front of him, though, and they take it away from him. A good job by Edina. Usually 1-on-4 isn't very successful for the guy with the 1.
No, correct.
That one's loose in front of Hogue, and it's able to be poked away down into the corner. 8:45 to go, second period. 3-1. Edina with the lead as the one sent the length of the ice for an icing.
Well, Patrick, everybody looks at Edina as an offensive juggernaut, but I think they undervalue or undersell the defensive abilities of this team. They play as a group. They have a very strong rear guard group of rear guards, but the forwards come back and they play very responsible. So if you're going to get some offensive zone time, you better keep your feet moving because Edina's going to close the gap in a hurry.
So we're going to have a discussion at the scorer's table. Not sure if that was related to the icing call, perhaps. I know the clock ran for a few seconds before they put 6 seconds back on the clock that had ticked off. So a good job by everybody to make sure that they had that right before we continued play.
I like it.
Absolutely, as a face-off pushed into the Edina zone and Hogue having to glove it.
Well, and I like the fact that they got the shot on goal, but they went toward the net, and I don't know if it was Monty or if it was Kimlinger. They that went toward the net, but that's what they're going to have to do. It looks like it was Monty that went, but a nice job of blocking out by Gunnar Johnson for the Edina Hornets. But just get the puck to the net and then crash the net, put some pressure on. When Edina skates backwards, that's what Wayzata wants, because they're going to get their opportunities.
Matthews able to come loose out front, and it's blocked before the shot could get through to Hogue. That was Fairchild who came out loose in front. It was pushed back. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it was just a nice block by Boltman. He sacrificed his body. He knew he was going to receive that puck, but really responsible job by the Edina defender.
Absolutely. As play continuing in the Wayzata offensive zone. Edina trying to clear it, but then slipping on the clear attempt. The Hornets able to clear as Jungles has his pocket picked as he tried to drive into the offensive zone.
Going 1-on-4. If anybody has a chance, it might be Jet Jungles.
Absolutely. And it's sent back up the boards as play is stopped with 7:50 to go.
Well, not a lot of whistles. I mean, there have been some whistles, but I thought the up and down would be a little bit more consistent in this second period. But again, when you play Wayzata, it's hard to get a flow going. But I like the way that Wayzata's shown up for this period. They're really contesting. They're getting offensive zone time. They're forcing the Edina netminder to make some saves. All they need is a positive. If they can punch one through, that bench is going to erupt, and it's going to be a whole new ball game.
Jungles with the shot, save, knocked down. My apologies, that's not Jungles, that was Kavanaugh.
Well, Kavanaugh, he's got some offensive skill, but this is the energy line for Edina. I mean, we're talking Shoemaker, Kavanaugh, and Rugemer. Rugemer's a long drink of water, not afraid to throw the body around, and the other players can play physical, but they have some offensive skill as well, and this is a line that can give Edina some energy, or at least maintain the momentum that the previous lines have established. So that's really a feather in the Edina's cap, is the depth at forward on this team, and this is a prime example of the depth that they have.
Shoemaker with the face-off against Ludke. Shoemaker able to push the face-off, able to maintain control for Edina. There's a long shot. That one just tipped wide. I think that might have been Kavanaugh who got the stick on it and deflected it wide. Circling the way back in, centering feed, trying to be poked away by the Trojans. Eventually they will. It's Jack Siemens the other way, but he has the puck taken away from him. 7:17 to go in the period. 3-1 Edina. No scoring yet here in the second period. Of course, that could easily change the way these two teams operate. As here's Siemens up the near side. He'll play this one into the corner. Edina will possess it there. As it's sent back into the neutral zone. To pick it up there is Peters. He'll try to redirect it back the other direction as a battle ensues in front of the penalty box area. As Peters is able to punch it through into the Edina zone where the Hornets glove it by Hogue, and we'll have a face-off in the offensive zone for Wayzata.
Yeah, it was a pretty good shot by Kimlinger in that one. 11 goals on the year, making a bid for his 12th, but it was Bishop that got a little aggressive on that. A defense kind of charging into the neutral zone after the puck. I think it put Edina a little bit behind the 8-ball, but it was Kimlinger that put a pretty good shot on goal. Wayzata's got a definite shot advantage this period. Now they just have to punch one in.
Kimlinger almost came away with that face-off win as well. It's pushed up into the corner. Now the Hornets back the other way with speed into the offensive. There's a shot that just goes wide by Colby. It'll carry him all the way back into the Wayzata's offensive zone as we pass the 6:20 to go mark here in the second period. The Hornets have it deep in their own zone as it's sent into the neutral zone, but chipped right back in by Tomchik. In the far side corner, the Hornets have it once again. They'll play it around their net, around to the near side.
Here we go.
There's a shot saved by Hogue as Fairchild came away with it.
Well, Fairchild's no stranger to the scoring area. Just from between the hash marks, he put a pretty good wrist shot, but Hogue came out beyond the blue. So Hogue has really seen some action, but I think confidence is building in this young man. Every save that he makes, he's coming out a little farther to challenge the shooter. So it bodes well for the Edina Hornets that their goaltender has some confidence, but Pat O'Leary has to, I would assume, feel pretty good about the way his team has responded this second period. They're putting pressure on, forcing Edina to defend.
As Matthews pushes the face-off in deep, centering feed for Monty. Ended up sneaking through and being pushed up into the corner. Wayzata carries it around their own net. It gets down to Peters at the point. Gets it back up to Berglund. Berglund will throw this one in toward the net. It'll work its way back around to the corner. There's Monty down there as well with Matthews as Edina able to come away with it. Through the neutral zone come the Hornets. It's Borst. Borst will drive it down in deep behind the Wayzata net as Matthews cuts him off hard. Comes back out to the point. The centering feed down low is I think Borst thought somebody was going to be there, but it turned out there wasn't anybody there on the back door. As Borst turnaround shot saved by Fraga. And Matthews tries to chip it back into the neutral zone. So an exciting sequence there for the Hornets, Bart, as Borst with a couple of good looks at the net.
Well, Borst is one of the youngsters on this team, but only 3 goals on the year, but he really, he's a good player. He's got some offensive skill, plus he's got a little grit. Not afraid to throw his body around a little bit and make some plays.
Fraga out of his own net, tried to clear it out, but the Hornets able to hold it in. Fraga gets it to Bergslund. Bergslund will ring it around to the far side boards. It's chipped up into the neutral zone. Here's Seamans into the offensive zone. As he tried to center it for Ludke, didn't get a whole lot on that bouncy, awkward pass. Wayzata able to hold the offensive zone as it works its way around the net, back to the near side. 4:25 to go here in the second period. Here come the Hornets. There's a shot. That one just goes wide by Nevers. Nevers looking for his second goal if the net comes off.
Well, Nevers, I thought he was going to take that shot, but he saw Jungle streaking in on the side. But again, a nice job by Tommy Bergslund, the senior defenseman, to kind of interrupt his stride just enough so Jungles couldn't get his stick on that one. Otherwise, that would have been a hat trick for Jungles and an Edina 4-1 lead. So really a responsible play by Bergslund to keep that puck out of the net. But Edina coming down 3-on-1. I'm sure that Danny Fraga, the goaltender for Wayzata, his eyes got a little big, but they kept the puck out of the net, so they survived that. 4:20 left in the second period. We're still 3-1. Edina with an offensive zone faceoff. Big faceoff for this Wayzata Trojans team.
Matthews will take it against the Jungles. We have a little bit of a pause prior to the puck drop here, and now we're ready to go. The faceoff pushed into the corner. Matthews back to get it for Wayzata. He'll circle the net. He tries to get it up ahead as he's able to catch his own deflected pass, but it's held in by Edina. A long shot from the blue line, held by Fraga.
Well, you can see Matthews' quickness. He not only won that faceoff, but went and got it and then danced around, sent the puck up the wall, but it was Bishop that kept the puck in the zone. Another wrist shot from the Edina defenseman. They have a way to find the net. That one was pretty much unchallenged, but a nice save by Fraga. Not that difficult for him to handle.
Nevers wins the face-off. A shot through traffic able to be found and held onto by Fraga.
I'm not sure he saw that one. That was a bullet from Boldman off the draw. And but the Wayzata netminer, a good positional save. He might have tracked that one, but he received that in area rebound. Plenty of support for Edina down low.
Was Nevers able to, well, Matthews able to fight through Nevers and push that face-off down to the near side. Now it's sent up into that far side corner as the Trojans bring it back the other way with Matthews. Matthews, he'll gain the offensive zone. He tries to get it down to the near side in Fairchild, but it's sent back the other way by the Hornets. Monty in his own zone with it. As this long pass into the neutral zone for Fairchild. As Fairchild had this one poked away as he tried to find Matthews. Edina with it back in their own zone. 3:33 to go, second period. 3-1 Edina leading. As this long pass will go for an icing and a face-off back in the Edina zone.
Well, it was Boltman that took a hit from Monty on that one just to let him know he was there, but it was Bishop who tried to get Nevers in stride through the neutral zone just out of his reach. Puck's going to come all the way down. 3:29 left in the second period. Offensive zone face-off for Wayzata. Big face-off for Edina.
Coming to the right of Hogue. With a push toward Hogue, it'll work its way around the net and then sent back down to the corner. 3:23 to go in the period. Edina leading at 3-1. 2 goals by Jet Jungles, 1 goal by Nevers.
And Monty for Wayzata.
Monty for Wayzata, the one that came just 41 seconds into the game that gave the Trojans a 1-0 lead at the time.
It shocked the faithful here as well. They got awful quiet.
Wayzata back into the offensive zone. Davison driving up into the corner where it's taken away from him there. And sent back the other way by Kavanaugh into the neutral zone. Thrown back out into the neutral zone by the Hornets. As Lewis able to push it back into the neutral zone as this one tried to be chipped in by Edina, but Wayzata able to knock that one down and regain possession as Ness banks it off the boards in front of the bench. As Ness flips it down into the Edina zone as it sneaks through Williams all the way down into the Edina corner behind the net. And Peters trying to hold the zone. He does. As Lewis in the corner. They'll play it off the glass. It'll work its way around. A long shot from the point. Hogue able to find it. Well, looked like he found it. It was a long whistle, long delayed whistle before it was blown dead.
Well, Edina's starting to chase the play a little in their own zone. It was Colby that was kind of pulled off the wall, and then the puck went around. Wayzata held it in, put some pressure once again on Loudon Hogue. So they're getting some shots. They just have to punch one in. 2:15 left in the second period. Wayzata's threatening. is have to finish a play.
Edina able to get it out into the neutral zone. And then dumped in deep to the Wayzata zone. Frog out of his net. He gets it to Bergslund. Bergslund gets it up towards Siemens. Siemens will try to drive around the Edina defender. That's Boltman. He couldn't quite do it, though. There's a couple of hits being taken on those near side boards. It's back deep in the Edina zone. 1:45 to go here in the second period. The offensive zone is Chorsky. Chorsky trying to work his way around Bergslund. And it's behind the Wayzata net. Up on those far side boards in front of the Edina bench. Taken away by the Trojans and brought the other direction.
Well, it's going to be Colby that's going to go for a trip. Just he reached out to right in front of the referee. Not a very good decision by the Edina forward on that one. He's going to spend 2 minutes in the box. 1:23 left in the second period. Great opportunity for this Trojan team on the power play, and they're having a little kind of a little session at the Wayzata bench to kind of get some plans going. Not a timeout. They're just taking their time, kind of getting everybody focused on what the plan is. But boy, just an inopportune time to take a penalty for this Edina Hornet team, but a great opportunity for this Trojan team to cut the lead to 1. 1:23 left in this second period, as I said.
Matthews off the face-off, gets it to Peters. Bergslund trying to hold it in, but it's cleared out of the neutral zone. It'll bank all the way down into the Trojan zone, or Frog out of his net. Gets it to Peters. Peters will play it back behind his own net to Bergslund. Bergslund trying to get Matthews to break out. It's Matthews' long pass a little bit out of the reach of Monty as Edina sends it back into the Wayzata zone. We're under a minute to play here in the period. Peters will end up with it once again for Wayzata. Peters sends it into the neutral zone. Monty passes a little behind him, so it ends up all the way back in the corner. Wayzata playing it from the corner and working its way out. Back up to the point, it's Bergslund. Bergslund to Matthews. Matthews back to Bergslund at the blue line. 32 seconds in the period. Matthews going to work his way in. Monty with a shot. I don't know if that got through to Hogue or not, but either way, it caroms back out into the neutral zone. Bergslund back to get it for Wayzata. Sends it down to Peters on the near side. Under 20 seconds to go. It's Berglund's pass in front of the bench area. Monty got cut off nicely by Boltman at the blue line. The shot through traffic. Hogue able to find it, and it's still loose in front of the goaltender. They score! Just 2.9 to go in the period. A power play goal by the Trojans. That'll be Matthews with his team leading 15th of the year. It's 3-2 going into the third period.
Wow, looked like a rugby scrum in front of the Edina goal, and Wayzata with the man advantage, and they took full advantage of that. They just had the extra body in, but Hogue did everything he could to stretch out and make that save. But it found a way into the net. Now it's 3-2, whole new ball game, 2.9 seconds left, so pretty much academic on this face-off. But now Wayzata goes into the locker room feeling good about their play. They were the better team this period. Now they're only one good effective shot away from tying this game up. So, boy, what a change of events one goal can make. But that was a big goal by the Wayzata Trojans in the waning moments of the period on the power play. So, a really nice job by Pat O'Leary. So they're going to go in feeling some energy. Edina's just got to regroup a little bit. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just that Wayzata, a good team, did a little bit of a pushback, and that's what I think Edina expected. But great period for Wayzata, really.
Absolutely. So we talked extensively during that first period about not letting Edina get into a flow, and we talked at the first intermission that Edina came back. They scored those 3 goals. They got the 2 goals in 13 seconds, and we said, well, they're kind of letting Edina get in a flow, and they came out in that second period, and they completely reversed the narrative on that.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy because Edina came out with some pretty good energy, put some pressure on Frogger right away, but then systematically it just seemed like Wayzata started to build confidence as they go, and it all comes down to zone exits. If Wayzata can get out of their zone with possession, that obviously bodes very, very well. But if you can get this Edina team to skate backwards and defend, they're going to have a greater chance for some scoring opportunities, and they finally got one on the power play to wrap that period up. But 3-2, it's a whole new ball game. Promises to be an exciting third period, Patrick.
Absolutely. So from Braemar Arena, Wayzata getting the power play goal with just 2.3 seconds to go in the period from Joel Matthews, and we'll go to the second intermission with Edina just leading at 3-2. You're watching MNHockey.tv coverage. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Braemar Arena as we get set to start the third period momentarily. I was so thunderstruck I forgot to pull my headset down to where we could hear everything. So
we always have good music here. Pat Milan didn't make any exceptions, Patrick.
Absolutely so. Wayzata got that very late goal to end the second period, just 2.5 seconds on the clock. The power play goal by Matthews to narrow the deficit to 3-2. So that puts some energy, you think, into the Trojans coming into this third period?
Well, it would really have to, and the assist actually came from Tommy Bergslund, so that's number 29 in the apple column for him, so he's got a bushel going on there, but that was at the 16:57 mark on the power play. Edina taking just not a great penalty in the closing moments of that second period. Those are the little things that can be the difference between a good team and a great team. And I'm not trying to put the onus on him. The player that took the penalty has been a very solid contributor. He's done everything the coach has asked, but just a little bit of a misplay on that one. But now it's a one-goal contest. Wayzata has some energy coming into the third period. It's up to Edina now to respond and come out and not only match that energy, but kick it up a notch. They're still up by a goal, so Edina, they're in a comfortable spot, but Wayzata getting that goal just gives them a little confidence, and that's what this team, that's what Edina did. They took the confidence away in the first period, but Wayzata earned it back.
Absolutely. The Trojans we talked about again going into that second intermission. We talked about looked like Edina was getting things going, and of course that was one of the keys was don't let Edina get going, and the Trojans did a good job in that second period of stopping that, not just slowing it down, but just a dead stop to all that momentum that the Hornets gained in that first period.
Well, it's all about possession. I'd like to say hi to Mike Scala for tuning us in, watching on the TV. We appreciate you joining us tonight, Mike. Scotty Buss likes to say hello to him as well.
Edina possesses it in their own zone. Boltman gets it up ahead out of the reach of Malmquist. Moni trying to send it the other way. It's loose in the neutral zone. Jungle's getting it up toward Nevers. Nevers, though, couldn't quite handle the pass. Reversing direction is Mortensen. Mortensen plays it back around to the near side. It'll work through the neutral zone all the way into the Edina zone, and it will go for an icing and a face-off back in the Wayzata zone.
Well, I think a key to Wayzata to maintain their momentum is getting out of the zone with some efficiency. Just it doesn't have to be tic-tac-toe, but they have to use that. Their own blue line is kind of an area that they have to get past to keep Edina at bay to a certain degree. So that's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on for the final 16:31 of this third period.
Chorsky will take the face-off for Edina. He's able to drive it back toward Johnson, who is able to hold the zone. It's Johnson with a long shot. That'll go wide. It'll work its way back around to the far side and pushed into the neutral zone by the Trojans, where the puck is frozen up against the Wayzata bench. Might have been an offside coming out of that.
Well, we'll see where the face-off is, but now Rugemer's manning the right side of the Chorsky line. Just kind of drifted off the wall a little bit. Couldn't catch up with that pass, so he tried to put it back in. Came in offsides.
Face-off pushed up toward the Wayzata bench as Edina able to push it down into the Wayzata zone. Banked off the near side boards toward Max Breon as Breon pushes it down into the Edina zone. We're back to get it as Reiners behind his own net, but a good job to tie Reiners up behind the net. Centering feed for Breon, who pushes it down to the near side corner. It was a great job by the Trojans there to make something out of what looked like was not going to be very much. Driving into the offensive zone and a shot save off the stick of Chorsky by Fraga as it works its way back around to the near side. Matthews on the far side. Rather, that's not Matthews, my apologies. That's Tomchik, who chips this one all the way through. It'll go again for an icing.
Well, it was Edina that actually got the puck out of the zone. It was Chorsky that opted to take that puck. It could have been Delaney, but Chorsky took it, and they gave him some space. They were guarding against the pass to the weak side. He kind of went toward the middle, tried to change the angle on that shot, but that was a really big save by Danny Fraga for the Trojans. If Edina would have scored that, it could have changed the complexion, but it was a nice save by Fraga, controlled the rebound. Now they're just still down by a goal and maintaining their energy as well.
15:27 to go in regulation. 3-2 Edina. Trojans through the neutral zone as Monty trying to work his way around, but Boltman did a good job of knocking him off the puck. Matthews couldn't quite get a hold of the puck on the centering feed as he had a defender all over him as it comes back around to the far side. With speed is Borst up those bench area boards and sent back the other way. Wayzata will gain the offensive zone as getting in front of that one was Boltman in front of Fairchild before Fairchild could get a shot away. There's some chip back to the blue line. It'll be held in by Bergslund trying to get it off for money. Monty pokes it around the net. He's way to the far side as Edina will clear this one all the way out for an icing call.
Well, I think Edina just needed to get a whistle, get some fresh legs out of the ice. But it was a nice job by Wayzata to draw the Edina defenseman. I think it was Johnson drew him toward the center, and they had to do a rotation to come over and cover. So Wayzata moving the puck to the open areas. They haven't quite got anything quality on Hogue yet, but they're chipping away. 14:43 left in regulation time, but Wayzata spending a lot of time in the Edina zone.
As Ludke pushes the face-off away from Nevers as one poked away from Breon. Comes centering feed toward Breon. It comes toward Hogue as Hogue able to find it on that backhand shot attempt by Ludke. As Ludke was just kind of driving toward it. I think he had too little space to make a good shot attempt out of it. We have a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the pushing and shoving. I understand it, but it really doesn't solve much. All it does is kind of get the referee's attention and kind of gets the ire on that. But it was really a nice play by Ben Ludke on that one. He didn't really have many options going forward on that one, so he just tried to pull it back out from a shallow angle, put it back in on Hogue. But it's going to be Malmquist that's going to go for Edina, and there's also going to be a penalty, and I think it's going to be Siemens. I'm not 100% sure. We'll wait till they post it on the board, but it's still going to be, should be 5-on-5, 14:31 left to go. But having Malmquist in the box is pretty big for Wayzata. He's a very formidable offensive player that plays a solid game, but they aren't going to post it. I'm not going to call anybody out, but we're 5-on-5, so no harm. They're going to spend some time in the box.
Indeed, Siemens was the one who went a moment ago, so this coincidental minors. We stay 5-on-5.
There we go.
As Nevers trying to corral that puck. Boltman ends up with it. He brings it into the offensive zone. It comes down to Nevers. Nevers with a shot through traffic. That was blocked, and Karam's back out to the point. Edina able to hold the zone. Works its way around the Trojan net. Comes around to the near side. And the Trojans back through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. Centering feed just out of the reach of Davison, who couldn't really get a good handle on it. And that could have been a great opportunity there for the Trojans to get this thing knotted up. Under 13:50 to go here in the final period. A good job by the Trojans to get the play tied up in that near side corner. That's Drew Bishop getting tied up as Bishop trying to get out of there as goes to the ice with Gardner. Jungles ends up coming out with the puck, but he has that one knocked away from him by Kimlinger. Sent back down into the Wayzata zone. Pass through the neutral zone. This will be deflected all the way down in, where Reiners will be back to pick it up in the far side corner. He'll play it around. Monty able to hold the zone for Wayzata. As he gets tied up, he's got a couple of white jerseys in front of him, but this one pushed up toward Delaney. Delaney trying to push it out into the neutral zone. He does, but then it's sent right back in by the Trojans.
I don't know if the camera picked it up, but the linesman was actually straddling into the Edina box, and it was Josh Harding that helped get him back out of the ice.
The play moves back into the Edina zone. One player playing without a stick as this pass out of the reach of Matthews, and the
penalty Edina.
Penalty coming here against the Hornets, rather. Wayzata, who cashed in on that power play at the end of the second period. They've got a important one coming here.
Well, it's going to be Mason Reiners, too, one of the primary defenders on this Edina team. I think he's been one of their best defensemen all year long, but it's a stick penalty, cross-checking penalty, so up by a goal. Edina takes a penalty, so another great opportunity for the Wayzata Trojans. They're just about 29% on the power play. Edina with a formidable 87% penalty kill. But if you remember, the last goal in the waning moments of that second period was on the power play, so Edina's got to pick up their teammate and kill this one off.
The Trojans come out of it with the puck as Ludke sending it back into the corner. As Davison gets it back down to Ludke. Ludke will take it back as he works his way along the near side boards. Drive his way in. Gets it to Kimlinger. Kimlinger working. We'll get it back up top to have a long shot by Mortensen. Right up in the corner. It'll work its way around Ludke. And then back to the near side boards. As Kimlinger got tied up, Ludke will send this pass. It'll sneak through. The centering feed was tipped down low. But Wayzata able to maintain the attack. There's a long shot, or rather a shot from the circle, and that'll go wide. Wasn't a very long shot by Ludke, but
now, good zone time, good possession by Wayzata. Edina doing a nice job of keeping him in the periphery, so Edina's doing a nice job in the kill, but Wayzata's getting close.
Minute to go on the power play as Matthews just couldn't knock that pass down, or he might have had a shot attempt on goal. 52 seconds in the power play, 11:35 in regulation. Wayzata playing it deep in their own zone. They're going to break out. Through the neutral zone they come with Monty. Sent right back out into the neutral zone. And then sent back deep into the Trojan zone. Well, good job by Edina there to make the Trojans have to reset all over again.
Well, it was Chorski with that long reach, just turned fire to send it down, burned some clock. So one more good rush for the Trojans on the power play.
Into the offensive zone they come. It comes down to Matthews on the near side in the circle. Trying to work his way around Williams. He gets it back to the blue line. Peters will take it back. Bergslin shot through, send it to the circle, and they get it down low toward Monty, but Monty got tied up at the last second and couldn't get a shot away. Held in by the Trojans. Power play over. Edina back at full strength. As Matthews tried to sneak this one through, it's still loose as play is stopped. No goal. Whistle blow before the shot attempt.
No, there really shouldn't be much argument about that. Edina, I think it was the Edina defenseman stretched himself out. I think it was Boltman that did really kind of took the opportunity or the options away, so to speak. The puck went out front, but he actually closed his hand, turned, and then dropped it, and that's hence why the whistle was called. So there really shouldn't be any deliberation about that. But if you're Wayzata, you have to feel a little bit disappointed. But now we're back to 5-on-5, both of Siemens and Malmquist out of the box, so we have clean penalty boxes for a change. 5-on-5, 10:38 left in the third period. Edina dodges a bullet, being a man down. Nice kill.
The face-off back in the Edina zone along the far side boards. Now here come the Trojans trying to work it back the other way through the neutral zone. Sent in deep by Ludke. Will work its way into the corner. As Boltman plays it up through the corner. As taking a hit is Johnson. Trojans able to send it back in deep into the Edina zone as Hogue out of his net will leave it behind him. Good job there by Lewis to disrupt that breakout attempt as the Trojans able to hold the zone. As Breon tried to get it up ahead toward Matthews.
Oh, Boltman felt that shot too.
That centering feed, the turnaround shot, that'll go high over the net by Matthews. It's back to Lewis. Lewis's pass a little bit too long, trying to get it down to Mortensen, and Wayzata will have to reset. Matthews up the near side boards, opposed by Williams. Williams gets in his way, as he also gets tied up from behind by Morton. Matthews, though, a good job by Matthews. He fought through those two guys all over him, but Morton takes it away. Morton into the offensive zone as Morton takes a hit.
Well, it was Mortensen that really took a good angle on that one and really limited his forward progress. A nice job by the Trojan defender on that one.
We'll have a stoppage of play with 9:19 to go in regulation. 3-2. The Edina Hornets with the tenuous lead.
Well, this is kind of the time of the game where this Edina depth can kind of wear down the opponents. But, it's going to be a slashing call on Morton for Edina. Grant Morton going to go to the box. So, once again, Wayzata gets a great opportunity. But my point being is normally Edina wears people down. I don't see any fatigue from this Wayzata. In fact, I think their energy's been amped up in this period.
Absolutely, and we talked kind of over and over again, circling the net. Are the Trojans? There's a shot saved by Hogue. That was Fairchild who snuck around to the stick side.
That was a good save.
As Fairchild gets tied up by Reiners. It's Monty. Getting it back to Fairchild. Fairchild trying to sneak this one through to Monty in the middle, but the pass got deflected. Wayzata able to hold the zone. Ludke. Ludke with a shot through the circle, saved by Hogue. And almost finding the back door. It's behind him, they score! Carson Peters with that long shot that was knocked down by the goaltender Hogue, but it got behind him and he wasn't able to find it in time, and this game is tied.
Wow, the sophomore defenseman just scored his first high school goal, so they're going to round up that puck, and Tommy Bergslin taking care of his teammate by grabbing that puck. But what a big goal, what a timely goal it was to get your first one. It was Hogue that actually made the initial save, but the puck had enough velocity on it where it ramped up and over his shoulder and dribbled into the net. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be effective. We're down at a 3, 8:40 to go in regulation time. It is a whole new ball game.
So 2 power play goals bridging the end of the second and midway through the third period by the Trojans to tie this game up. From the Hornets into the offensive zone with Jungles. Jungles centering feed, they score! And Edina retakes the lead right away. It's going to be Nevers for the second time tonight. It's 4-3 Hornets.
Well, this has definitely been the go-to line for this Hornet team, and what a great answer it was. Wayzata didn't even get a chance to bask in the glory, but for a couple seconds. But it was Jungles with a nice sauce over to Nevers, and Nevers a nice redirect, went short side on Fraga. Now it's 4-3. The onus is now back on Wayzata to play catch-up again. They certainly have the confidence and the wherewithal to do it, but boy, things can change in a hurry, but Edina's got some energy now.
Matthews quickly drives into the offensive zone before the puck taken away from him. Kavanaugh with it now that's Nevers, my apologies, Nevers. Well, he drives ahead through the neutral zone. We'll chip this one down in on Fraga. Bergslund has it for Wayzata behind his own net. Bergslund able to get it up ahead. Matthews up the near side into the offensive zone, but he came in offside, and we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. 8:02 to go in regulation. So Nevers answers just moments after Carson Peters with that tying goal for Wayzata. And the Hornets back on top, 4-3.
Well, and it wasn't really a letdown by Wayzata. It was just a good play by the Edina left winger to chip that pass over to Nevers, and Nevers no stranger to scoring goals. That's his 12th of the season, second of the game. But now, as we said, a one-goal advantage. Edina, the Hornets back on the Trojans. 7:50 to go, so time is going to be of the essence.
Well, we saw Wayzata with the big response. They fell behind 3-1. They chipped away, got it to 3-2. This one in on Fraga, who makes the save, and they just kind of kept chipping away here in the third, and they had it tied for a hot second, as the kids like to say these days.
Oh, it looks like Edina's got to go to the box again, and I don't know what it's for, but it's going to be interference. So Edina under the microscope with the men in the stripes. If they see it, they're going to call it. Is Colby going to the box again? That's not going to fall in favor to the Edina coaches. But 7:39 to go, down by a goal. Now Wayzata on the power play, offensive zone faceoff. Boy, this is getting exciting, and it's going to be Chorsky and Matthews in the draw.
So the pressure shifts right back to the Edina defensive unit. The power play kill.
They're their own worst enemy right now.
Wayzata 2 for 4 on the power play. Matthews centering feed, that one deflected off of Hogue up into the netting as Monty had worked his way into the middle.
Boy, that's exactly how they wanted it. I'm sure that's happened before with Bergslund up to Matthews, out to Monty, and he lets one go from the right hash, but it was Hogue that came out, challenged it off his shoulder, up and out of place, so faceoff's going to be to his left. But nice puck movement by this Trojan team. Got it to the area with some spacing in their goal scorer, and he put a good shot on goal. Nice save by the Edina tender.
Is Monty able to control the faceoff for Wayzata? Peters, this one chipped up into the netting, and we'll have another face-off.
Well, and that's what Edina's going to have to do. Is Malmquist came out and challenged on that one, and that was Peters probably feeling a little flow right now. He got his first goal. Now he wants another one, but nice job by the Edina defender to close that space in a hurry.
Matthews once again against Jungles in the face-off circle. Wayzata again, and we haven't talked a lot about the shot that just goes wide, but Joel Matthews in the face-off circle has been pretty much a sure win for Wayzata this evening. This pass intercepted by Malmquist. Malmquist shorthanded in. Malmquist back in. Score!
Oh, my word.
Liam Malmquist with a huge shorthanded insurance goal. It's 5-3 Edina.
Wow, this line is the Edina trident of terror. Obviously shorthanded, just a shorty for Malmquist. And for Malmquist, that's going to be goal number 14, his second shorty of the season. But what a big goal it was. It puts the gap to 7 minutes remaining in regulation time. 1:22 left in the penalty to Colby. But Edina, boy, that's a big goal right there. But Malmquist coming down, I'm sure Fraga's eyes got a little big. He did a great job of defending. He really took away the high percentage shots. But a nice quick move and quick hands and quick feet by Malmquist put that puck in the net.
So we talked about a little bit, that depth, maybe just at this point in the period, things starting to wear down a little bit for the Trojans. They came back from 2 goals already once in this game. We'll have the game tied for but just a few seconds before the Edina Hornets answered and retook the lead.
Well, keep in mind, though, that Wayzata still has a minute left on this power play, so they can balance the scales a little bit and get some mojo back. They just have to get to work.
Second power play unit out there for Wayzata now as this one cleared out by Johnson all the way back into the Wayzata zone. where Mortensen will set up for the Trojans, who'll play it up to the far side boards, and Tomczyk, he's getting chased around by Malmquist, and Malmquist able to force the Trojans down into the corner in their own zone. So Malmquist now putting on some good shorthanded pressure once again as this one flipped in on Fraga by Williams.
Boy, that was kind of dangerous. That could have, he jumped the hop on that one, so nice job by Fraga. Could have been a trying moment.
Into the offensive zone of the Trojans, and a great job by Reiners to catch up to that one and take it away. Wasn't able to clear the zone, but a good job of disrupting the play as this one sneaks through the blue. Jungle's getting tied up with Lutke, and a penalty coming.
You know, I don't know if that was a penalty. Lutke did in fact, he's even questioning that it was him, but Jungles was trying to get his stick on the puck, but it was Lutke that actually kind of had his stick tied up, so I guess by the letter of the law, that was a penalty. But that's going to balance the scales. And the 6 seconds left before Colby comes out, then Edina back on the power play. But Wayzata had pretty good possession on that. Obviously, they gave up a shorty. That's not good, but they just weren't getting, other than the shot from money that went off the shoulder of Hogue, they really didn't get any really quality looks on that power play. So nice kill again by the Edina Hornets. Hornets just have to stay out of the box if they want to kind of take the excitement out of this game, but little space out there. Big face-up, but Wayzata's had great success tonight at the dots.
So a tough problem. The prospect for Wayzata, of course, is that they basically now have to kill off what is basically a full Edina power play. 1:49 to go now in that, and now they get some shorthanded pressure as Hull gets to make the save on Matthews, and we'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Trojans in a shorthanded situation.
And the Trojans haven't scored a shorty, but now would be a real good time to break that trend. But it's Matthews in the faceoff dot against Jungles. Jungles pretty good hands as well. Should be a good match.
5:31 to go in regulation. 1:47 in the Edina power play as Matthews able to push it back toward the Edina net where Williams has it for Edina. Williams will set things up, survey ahead of him as he gets it up toward Jungles. Jungles into the offensive zone for Edina as he gets it to Nevers behind him. Nevers to Williams. Nevers back from Williams. Williams with it once again as it's nicely taken away. And here come the Trojans shorthanded the other way into the offensive zone. Matthews back outdoors. Shot saved by Hogue on Fairchild. 5 minutes to go in regulation. 1:13 to go in the power play. 5-3 Edina with the lead.
Boy, Daddy's going to have to pay particular attention on defense. That was Matthews all alone. I thought he should have taken that shot.
Nevers into the offensive zone. He's working his way around. Nevers trying to center it as this pass will end up sneaking all the way to the far side boards. Williams with it at the blue line. Malmquist trying to get it down low. Nevers scores! And there come the Hats. And the two candidates for the hat trick tonight, with Jungles and Nevers both having 2 goals at this point in the game, and Nevers is the one who will draw the Hats. It's a power play goal. It's a 3-goal lead for Edina at 6-3.
Wow, and for Nevers, that's the 13th of the season, 3rd of the night, his 4th power play goal. But again, we still have 4:31 left. Very tall task for Wayzata to come back 3 goals down against Edina, playing very responsibly, but not beyond the realm of possibility. But Edina's doing a good job of flexing their offensive muscles.
Oh, Wayzata had tied the game on the power play goal early in this period, and that tie lasted all but a few seconds. Nevers and Malmquist shorthanded. Nevers with his 3rd. It's 6-3. Hornets with the lead as we're about to pass under 4 minutes to go in regulation. And there's the goal by Ben Ludke, and just like that, it's a 2-goal game. So, Bart, like you said, don't go away. And it's 6-4.
Yeah, don't even go get a pop or popcorn or anything. Anything can happen, but for Ludke, that's number 11, just under the bar on that one. But nice work down low by Wayzata. Really put Edina defenseman in peril, and they came up with the puck, got it out front, and he put it right up over Hogue's shoulder under the bar. Really a nice goal by Ludke. That's his 11th of the season, but now it's a 2-goal game, 4:06 to go. We still got some hockey to be played, but Edina's got to, they got to finish this game if they're going to boast of a win tonight. But Wayzata, a lot of character on that team. They're not going to quit.
And Wayzata will have an offensive zone face-off as that long dump in goes in on Hogue, so he had to glove it, and we'll have an offensive zone face-off for the Trojans.
Well, and Coach O'Leary has the players that he wants on the ice, and that's Fairchild, Money, and Matthews, and he brought back out Mortensen and Bergland, so he knows the situation, putting his big guns out there.
The shot from the point that's blocked. It was Bergland who let that one go. And into the offensive zone come the Hornets, as going to the ice is Kavanaugh. This play continues up in that far side corner. 3:43 to go in regulation. And here come the Trojans back the other way. Into the offensive zone is Matthews up the near side. Matthews trying to work his way around as he works his way into the middle and whacking at Hogue, who's able to hold on with the glove.
Well, Matthews is not long, I guess, as it says, but he's got legs like tree trunks. Very strong individual, very physically strong. And Drew Bishop had his hands full trying to contain him, but it was Matthews trying to work his edges, drive into the net. But it was Bishop who lost his stick, but kept him on the outside and allowed Logan Hogue to make that save and hold on to that puck. 3:31 now left.
There's a shot off the face-off that got through Hogue. It just went through the blue, and back up the near side is Colby.
Another one got through Hogue on that one. He makes the initial save, but the momentum of the puck is finding some holes. Point of concern for Edina.
Play in the Edina's offensive zone, controlled by the Hornets. Centering feed comes around to the near side. The backdoor feed to Colby, and he just whiffed on it. And
Boy,
Colby had
good play by Chorsky. Sorry to step on you, Patrick. Didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. And so it looked like Colby had Fraga beaten if he was able to get a hold of that one.
Well, it's just good that Chorsky saw him on that side, put it on his stick. He just misfired a little bit, but I'm sure Colby'd love to have that one back.
2:45 to go now in regulation. 6-4, Edina with the lead. Certainly a lot to chew on from this game to talk about once everything wraps up here in the final 2:34, but plenty of hockey to be played. This game not quite over yet.
Well, and Wayzata's done some good things. I mean, this is an Edina team that only gives up about 2 goals a game, and they got a 4 spot on the board. It's the 6th number that Wayzata, a little unusual for this team to give up that many goals.
As Williams trying to get it down low, it comes to Malmquist. Malmquist trying to center it, but there's nobody there. It comes back down to the near side. Fraga might have gotten through to that one. And we'll have a stoppage of play with 2:09 to go.
Well, 2:09 to go, down by 2. We're going to see if Wayzata can win this faceoff, which they've had great success in the faceoff circles. If they can maintain possession, get it in the zone, we'll keep an eye on Danny Fraga, the senior goaltender for the Trojans. I'd have to imagine Coach O'Leary is going to try to get him off as quick as he can and give his team a chance to narrow this gap, but they have some work to do. 2:09 left in regulation time. They better get moving.
Face-off controlled by Edina. Played off the end board. Johnson was the one who initially controlled the face-off, but the Trojans breaking out back the other way through the neutral zone. Getting headed off nicely at the blue line as it's sent back into the neutral zone. Breon on the near side for Wayzata. Breon gets knocked off the puck. He gets tied up in the corner. Seamans with a shot that's blocked as it's sent back out into the neutral zone by Chorsky. Chorsky into the offensive zone as he tries to get it down to, and just missing on that one was Colby. As Colby had taken that great feed. And the Trojans quickly into the offensive zone. Still in goal is the goaltender Fraga. 1:20 to go. Centering feed hits a few skates and cleared out by the Hornets. And Fraga has to play it.
Better hurry, Hornets.
And they do catch the Hornets in a line change, and there's a shot that goes wide by Monty. Wayzata able to hold the zone. It's Fairchild with it, and it's sent back out all the way through as we're under a minute to play. And it will not go far enough for an icing as it slowed up. Wayzata had to play it deep out of their own end. 46 seconds to go in regulation.
And Fraga's still in the goal for Wayzata.
Wayzata back to play it deep in their own zone once again. Matthews, as he gets tripped up, there's a shot that's blocked, and there goes Fraga. So possibly his play is stopped. And Fraga started to go to the bench right before play was stopped, but kind of curious. They took quite a while to pull him.
Yeah, well, sometimes the opportunity, you want to make sure you have possession, but it's going to be Reiners that's going to go to the box. Again, for the Edina Hornets, it's going to be a tripping penalty, I believe. Boy, he's been in the crosshairs of these officials, and Reiner's one of the primary players, one of my favorite defensemen to watch. He just plays a very solid, quiet game, just does the job. I think timeout for for Wayzata. Good call by Coach O'Leary. If they can kind of get things rolling early, 32.6 can seem like forever for the Hornets, but obviously it's going to go very, very quickly for Wayzata, so they're going to have to win the faceoff and really put some heat on Loudon Hogue for the Edina Hornets. So we're not done yet, but boy, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel if you're a Hornet fan, but Wayzata's just got to get to work. But Reiner's in the box again for Edina. They've taken too many penalties this period, Pat.
Absolutely. So Wayzata takes their time out. We'll have a power play coming out, so ostensibly a 6-on-4 coming out of the timeout once we break the huddles and get everybody back in place.
Well, I'd be kind of curious to see who Coach Kurt Giles is going to put on. Do you want to put defensive players on that can get in front of shots, or do you want the quickness and the speed of like a Malmquist and a Jungles and a Nevers, or are you going to go with more of the Shoemaker Kavanaugh? So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Kurt Giles chooses. We kind of have an idea that Coach O'Leary is going to put the Fairchild, Monty and Mathens line up front with likely Bergslund and perhaps Mortensen back on the points. But it's just a question of who that other attacker is going to be. My thought is going to be either Kimlinger or perhaps Ludke, a couple snipers, but they need to finish a play here, and they need to finish it very, very quickly.
But the one advantage of the 6-on-4, perhaps, is that if you clear the length of the ice, it's not going to be an icing because you're shorthanded.
Correct.
So if Edina can make that happen, then the Wayzata will have to go the length of the ice. As again, Wayzata with a face-off shot from the point. Hogue might have had to make the save there. It's pushed up in the corner. Wayzata maintains possession. Shot through traffic. It's loose in front of Hogue and swept out of there by Boltman. Matthews maintains for Wayzata. Matthews' shot is blocked and cleared out into the neutral zone. 15 seconds to go now. Wayzata gets it through the neutral zone, or it's knocked back the other way. And one final clear out by Johnson, and that'll do it. It's a tough test for the Hornets, the number 1 Edina Hornets this evening in a big late conference battle. Had to slog their way through a tough Wayzata team, but they're able to get it done this evening.
Well, indeed they were, and Edina is very difficult, especially in the friendly confines of Braemar Arena. Was it a perfect game for the Hornets? Absolutely not, but they scored what they needed to, and they got their big line out there. Jungles with a couple, Nevers with 3, Malmquist with 1, and a series of different assists. So the big line came out to play the trident of terror on the Edina team, but Wayzata has a lot of pride in this program, and they never quit. They're down 3-1. Things looked a little bleak, but they battled back and actually scored the only goal in the second period to close it with a 1, and then they tied the game early in the third period, but then Edina kind of came back and started to flex their muscles, scoring 3 straight, and it was Ludke that answered back for Wayzata. They just ran out of time, but Edina's just got to quit running to the box with these penalties, stick penalties, interference penalties. But Wayzata, good things to come from this team, but Edina knows they were in a bit of a battle tonight, but that's Lake Conference hockey, and that's why we look forward to coming and watching these teams square off. But it's going to be a fun ride from this point forward to sections, but this was just a fine example of Lake Conference hockey. But congratulations to the Hornets for dodging a bullet, and Wayzata showed a lot of character tonight and showed some skill as well. Putting 4-spot up against Edina is not an easy thing to do.
Well, the Hornets now 3-0 in conference. They've beaten Eden Prairie, beaten Minnetonka, beaten Wayzata, so looking good shape in the driver's seat as we enter as we start skating toward the end of the regular season. So a couple weeks to go in the regular season, but Edina already up 3 in the conference race. They've beaten everybody. Well, I haven't played Hopkins yet, I suppose, but beaten the 3 big guns that they're going to be seeing, so they already have an edge there.
Well, I think they're showing themselves actually what potential this team can have, and it's there's a lot of new bodies, a little bit more experience, but they're starting to figure out their lines and what they have, and both teams moving forward know exactly what team they have and how to succeed. But Coach O'Leary is a great coach. He runs a great program. The kids come out and play, but they're very difficult to play against, and they showed that tonight.
So for Wayzata, I think there was a lot to hold your head high about, and you did give up 6 goals, but you fought hard against a team who I think a lot of people are expecting are going to be there that final Saturday night in March at the X. And there's a lot to be proud of. Last weekend they took Minnetonka to a 2-2 tie, so certainly a lot to be proud of your Wayzata and a lot to be optimistic about. This is a good team.
Well, it just comes down to section seedings as well. We know Wayzata is always very formidable. In fact, Edina last time they played this Wayzata team, they beat them 8-1 in the section finals. But the previous years, it was Wayzata that had success in sections. So, I mean, this is the team. If you remember looking back in 15-16 when they won, they had Mark Senden, they had Colin Schmidt, they had Hank Sorensen, goaltender Schilling in goal as well back then. But they didn't have the cast of the superstars. They just did it by committee, and that's a little bit what I see. They have a little bit more high-end goal-scoring talent on this team, and they still defend quite well. But, this Wayzata team is going to certainly be heard from. This is just a pothole on the road to perhaps some success, but a good showing by Wayzata tonight. I'm sure they're a little disappointed, but Edina still has some work to do. It wasn't a perfect game, but they got the win, and that's what they wanted coming into it.
Of course, you could also say, though, that, you want that imperfect game just to, kind of point out to the guys, hey, we didn't have that. We didn't play as well as we are capable of. They had that great third period against Minnetonka. So if you want to consider that the highest of the highs, that you beat up the previously undefeated Minnetonka Skippers with a 4-goal third period, and then you kind of have a game like this where you win, but you can still go, well, yeah, but we can do a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a plus.
Well, I think it comes down to just being responsible with your stick and being in the right position. Once they start reaching and taking stick penalties, they're playing into the opponent's hands. That's just a little detail that I'm sure Coach Kurt Giles is going to clean up. But again, when you win, it's not always perfect, but they got the win tonight, and that's what they came in for. So success for Edina. But Wayzata, you're going to be heard from again, so keep your heads up.
That'll do it for us here from Braemar Arena. The final score once again this evening, the Edina Hornets 6 and the Wayzata Trojans 4 for Will Vanderbilt and John Sands and Bart Archer. I'm Patrick Lilia. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We'll catch you soon from an arena near you.